I am co-sponsoring this inherent contempt resolution because it is the job of Congress to hold the Attorney General accountable for his actions of refusing to comply with a congressional subpoena when the Department of Justice refuses to do so. 2 weeks ago, the full House of Representatives voted to hold Merrick Garland in criminal contempt of Congress. According to the Congressional Research Service, the recipient of a duly issued and valid congressional subpoena has a legal obligation to comply, absent a valid and overriding privilege or other legal justification. But the subpoena is only as effective as the means by which it may be enforced. Without a process by which Congress can coerce compliance or detour noncompliance, the subpoena would be reduced to a formalized request rather than a constitutionally based demand for information. While the DOJ may claim that it has a valid and overriding privilege due to President Biden exerting executive privilege over the audio and video recordings in question, there are no grounds for withholding the recordings from his interview with Special Counsel Hur, considering that the Department of Justice provided the transcript months ago. The moment that the transcript was released, the right to exert executive privilege was waived. The tapes are important for several reasons. First, transcripts have admittedly been altered by this White House for previous speeches and events, so having the transcript verified as accurate by the recordings would be very useful. Second, while transcripts can show us what was said, they do not reveal how something was said, the time it took to say it, or the manner of speaking. The Department of Justice has already acknowledged that the transcript and the recordings are not identical, and we must be allowed to know to what extent they are different. As President Biden, congressional Democrats, and even Merrick Garland himself like to proclaim, no one is above the law. The executive branch has grown too powerful and has continually encroached upon the duties of the legislative branch. This particular instance goes to the very heart of the investigative and oversight functions of Congress. The resolution offered by Representative Luna is simply the enforcement mechanism constitutionally required when the executive branch refuses to comply with explicit orders directed from the legislative branch. I just want to quickly say that I think that there should be some curiosity among the press as to why the White House does not want to release the audio and videotapes. They released the transcript recognizing that executive privilege was invalid in this circumstance and that they were going to have to disclose the interview between Mr. Hur and Mr. Biden. They're, at this point, however, refusing to release the audio and videotapes, and I would request that all of you actually drill into the reason for that. We have the transcripts, we know what he said, so to the extent there may have been executive privilege available, which I would argue there would not have been, that's why they had to give us the transcripts, they've waived any such privilege the moment that they turned those over. So there is an illegitimate reason as to why they're withholding the audio tapes. I would encourage all of you to find out what that reason is.